Okay, here we go. Greetings and salutations to everybody out there. This is Married at First Sight. Where are they now? Possibly a 2 hour episode that we all could have done without. Um, it was to me, it was just a bunch of nothing. There was this huge buildup about the getaway, which was a retreat or a weekend getaway that was hosted by Rachel and Jose. And I thought, I was anticipating everybody showing up, everybody having a good time, getting caught up on everything. But it was a huge, huge fail. Not everybody showed up. One person came and then they left. It was just, oh, everything was so unnecessary. I didn't enjoy this episode at all. Anyway, so let's start off with Brett. So this is the Where Are They Now? Brett is doing her thing. She's happy to be moving on from Ryan. She gained probably the only thing I guess that she really learned about her whole marriage to Ryan is she knows exactly what she doesn't want. And my advice to the experts next time, please stop matching people who are polar opposites. It's not cute. It's not healthy. I've never really seen it work that well. Stop matching people who are polar opposites, especially people who are like, as far as their like political beliefs are very polar opposite. The way they live their lives is completely opposite. There's nothing wrong with having people who have a lot in common. I think it works so much better when people have a lot in common. But Ryan and Brett, them being polar opposites, it was just disaster from day one. This marriage was a huge disaster because they just didn't connect. They didn't even have enough feelings for each other to like fight or argue. They had nothing for each other. This relationship, this marriage was just dead in the water. But Brett's moving on. She didn't go to the getaway. She opted not to go. She's doing her thing. She's moving on. Best of luck to Brett. Brett is a wonderful, wonderful woman. I think that, any man who decides to be with her is going to be a very lucky guy. I think she's awesome. So good luck to Brett. Ryan. So Ryan went out on a date with some chick named Maggie from Dallas. I'm not sure when he met her. I don't know if it was, I don't know if it was before he got on the show or after the show wrapped. I have no idea, but he met this chick named Maggie, and he said that he'd always been interested in her, and finally she came down to Houston. They went out on a date. The date was just as boring and flat as his marriage to Brett. I don't know what it is about Ryan. To me, Ryan is an extremely boring person. I don't know if he needs to be around people who are more like him for him to like come alive. But the date was, to me, it was awful. It was just awful. It was an awful date. They barely talked. It seemed like Maggie was more interested. She was like kind of distracted by what was going on in the restaurant, which wasn't much. So that tells you how interesting Ryan is. It was, the date was boring. It was not good. I don't understand. They barely talked, like I said. I thought when it came to the point where he was asking her questions about what she was looking for, that, think the conversation would start flowing a little bit. Not really. Not really. And then when they got up to leave, I was like, oh, that's it. Even whatever they ate was boring. I have no idea. It was a sushi place, but whatever they ate didn't look like sushi to me. I have no idea what they ate, but it looked boring. And I don't know. I think Ryan just needs to be someone who's just like him. We don't know enough about Maggie to figure out whether or not, she would be a good match for him. He said this is more of his type. What? That she's breathing? What was so different about her from Brett? Okay, whatever. So, yeah, Ryan, good luck on whatever your endeavors are. Maggie, if you decide to pursue this thing with Ryan, you will never need sleeping pills or warm milk or anything to help you sleep. Just have a conversation with Ryan before you go to bed. Ryan did show up at the retreat. Wonderful. Marla. So Marla is doing Marla. Marla and Brett went out to go puppy shopping for Marla. So Marla found herself a cute little puppy dog, which she named Portia Fendi Feria. And yeah, she's out there doing her thing, living her best life, enjoying being single. I feel comfortable in saying that she and Johnny are not dating. Maybe Johnny is interested in her, but they're not dating. They're just really good friends. And Marla didn't talk too much about Gil. She's moving on. She's doing her thing and she's happy. She looks like she's just really enjoying life. That's all I got to say. She did show up to the retreat or the getaway. Johnny. Johnny is still struggling to get over Bao as far as, I guess, the emotional abuse he undertook from Bao. He's in therapy. He said that he's in therapy to get over his resentment towards Bao. During their marriage, it seemed like he didn't like Bao. After their marriage, it seems like he didn't like Bao. So why in the world did he choose to say yes on decision day? Even though his reasoning was, well, I wanted to see what she was like. I wanted to get a chance to know the real Bao away from production and all the cameras and stuff. So I'm like, okay. But the whole marriage, you hated her. After the marriage, you hated her even more. But for some reason on decision day, you felt like, I'm really interested in this woman. I really want to get to know her better. It just didn't make any sense. Now that I think about it, it really didn't make any sense. Because in this particular episode, he talked about Bao a lot. He talked about Bao with Sarah. We got to see the infamous Sarah because he did FaceTime with Sarah. Evidently, Sarah and Bao had a falling out. They're no longer friends. So Johnny was FaceTiming Sarah and they were talking about Bao. And Sarah says something about how Bao is like a cat. A cat will deal with you when they feel like dealing with you. When they don't want to deal with you, they're not going to deal with you. And him and Johnny are more like dogs, where you're always wanting to be around people and you're very affectionate and you like being around people and whatever. So yeah, Johnny says he's in therapy to get over his resentment towards Bao. He was really hesitant about going to the getaway because he was so worried about Bao being there. And he's just like, not interested in being around her at all whatsoever. But he went ahead and put his big boy pants on and he did show up at the retreat. He was there for like a couple of hours, I guess, until Bao showed up. And when Bao showed up, he did try to say hi to her. She completely ignored him because she's over it. And then a little bit later on, he decided to leave. He just couldn't take it. He couldn't stomach it anymore. Jose and Rachel. So at the reunion, we found out that they were still married, but they were separated. Rachel had moved out. So during the getaway or during this particular episode, they had their little date night. Jose had to meet with her friends because I guess you know how it is. She was telling her friends all the stuff about her marriage and the good and the bad and the ugly. So the friends kind of resent him. And so one of his tasks in making his marriage work was to try to win over her friends again and convince her friends that he's really a good match for her. So he met with a couple of her friends and they talked and whatever. And, who knows? Who knows if the friends actually like him or not now. But Rachel did appreciate the fact that he took the effort. He made the effort to smooth things over with them. So, like I said, they had their little bowling day or their date night, and they talk about how, they're making steps towards making their marriage work. And at the getaway, Rachel decided that she put a lot of thought into it, and she decided that she was going to move back in with Jose. And then they announced it to the very small group that actually showed up that they were going to move back in together. So evidently they're living together, working on their marriage. Good for them. Michaela. So Michaela moved into her own townhome. Her sisters came over to visit her. And Michaela, throughout this whole episode, seemed like a completely different Michaela. She looked a lot happier, a lot lighter, a lot brighter. She's really getting to enjoy Michaela. And her sisters came over and she's talking with her sisters, and she said something about how, part of her did want to have a sit down with Zach, I guess, for final closure. But, Zach wasn't feeling it. So her sisters were telling her, you don't need to do that for closure. You don't need to meet with him. You can move on and find your own closure without this whole final conversation thing. And so she doesn't want nothing to do with Zach. She's doing her own thing. Like I said, she looks a lot better. She does shadow boxing to kind of get out all of that energy, so she doesn't have to blow up and have her, her tantrums. So she's doing shadow boxing. She opted out of going to the retreat. In fact, instead of going to the getaway, she decided to meet with Gil. And her and Gil had a conversation because Gil didn't go either. either because he didn't want to be around Marla. So Michaela and Gil had a meet up and they were talking and, talking about why they weren't going to go to the getaway. And, they're both trying to move on. You can tell Gil is still extremely hurt. He's very, very hurt. He's still trying to put the pieces of his life back together, like I said. And there was a scene where Brett and Gil had met up at the firehouse where he worked. And he told Brett that he was in paramedic school. And, he's trying to move on with his life. And Brett told him that she was going to go puppy shopping with Marla. And Gil was just like, what? Because, during the season, Marla had said that she wasn't crazy about animals. He told her that he had an animal, he had a dog, and she was not feeling that at all because she made it seem like she didn't like animals at all. So when she went puppy shopping with Brett, it was kind of a shocker. Gil was surprised, like, why is she getting an animal because she doesn't like animals? Well, Marla tells us that her issue wasn't animals in general. She actually loves animals. She just doesn't like big dogs. Okay, Marla, whatever. So, Michaela, back to Michaela. So, Michaela is doing great. I'm so glad that she did not go to that getaway. I'm so glad because I don't want her anywhere near Zach for any reason other than if it's bringing her money. Like if it's for show purposes and she has to show up, to make her coin. Other than that, I was so glad she didn't show up because their whole relationship is just so disrespectful. Zach. Okay, so I'm going to put Zach and Bao together because Zach and Bao are together. Zach and Bao are together, y'all. They're dating. As far as, what this episode showed us, I don't know what's going on in real time, but evidently they decided to see each other. They're interested in each other. Zach took the first step. He asked her out. She said yes. And, before they went on their first date, Zach FaceTimed with his brother Hunter, and he told Hunter that he asked Bao out. Hunter said, well, first of all, I want to know that this isn't coming from, like you just trying to get back at somebody or you're just trying to be vengeful or whatever towards whoever. And Zach reassured his brother. He was like, no, it's not nothing about that. I am really interested in Bao. I think she's a great woman. And Hunter asked him, so what's the difference between Michaela and Bao? And at first he started off by saying, well, it's got nothing to do with looks or career or whatever. He says that him and Bao have a lot in common. He said that him and Bao, they can be themselves around each other. They're very comfortable with each other. And he says something like Bao is very, he likes how she's very like real and she's like very much like herself. And I'm like, well, Johnny wouldn't say that at all. Johnny would completely disagree with you. So he asked her out. She said yes to go out on their very first date and they're talking. I thought their first date was uncomfortable. I didn't see it flowing. I didn't see it. They seemed very nervous. And Bao did say that this was kind of weird for her because her and Zach are friends. And now they're trying to like do this whole romantic thing. And she was feeling nervous. She was feeling kind of awkward about it. Now he's seeing her like as this woman that he's attracted to. And it was just kind of strange for her. But I guess she's going to go with the flow. She's going to go with it. She does have an attraction for Zach. Zach definitely has an attraction for her. But I thought the first date was a little bit strange. They both, like I said, seemed kind of nervous. And Zach pretty early on asked her, will she be willing to go out on a second date? And I guess she was willing because they ended up going to the getaway together. They showed up at the getaway with Ryan. So it was the three of them that arrived at the getaway and they wanted to keep everything very low key. They weren't going to make some kind of huge announcement about their dating or about them dating. And Zach says, you know what, I'm not going to announce it. I'm not going to tell people that we're dating, but whatever happens, happens. If they figure it out, they figure it out. I'm not going to hide it. And then they talked about exclusivity and they both decided they were going to be exclusive with each other because Bao said, like, if I'm dating someone, I'm not interested in nobody else. And Zach pretty much said that, like, if I'm interested in going on a second and third date with someone, I'm not going to be interested in seeing anyone else either. So they are going to be exclusive with each other. So Zach and Bao, good luck to y'all. I'm pretty sure, I have a feeling that it's probably not going to last. I don't know if they're just trying to rebound from the horrible traumatic marriages and trying to find, I don't know. I have no idea. The future can only tell what's going to happen with these two people. But good luck to Zach and Bao. Gil, every single scene with Gil was sad to me. This man breaks my heart. He is really going through it, y'all. He's in therapy. He met with his therapist. They had a session. And at their session, the therapist asked him why was he still wearing his ring. And he said that his ring symbolized, fighting for something that you believe in, fighting for your marriage, fighting for your love, going to war for, I guess, your spouse, going to war for your marriage or relationship. And then the therapist said, well, isn't it time now to put up your weapons and to take off your ring? Because, it's over. You're not fighting with anyone or for anyone anymore. You're in this alone. And he agreed with her and he took off his ring. And then the therapist said, he talked about how he's struggling with the divorce. And the therapist said, yes, understandable, because, when you're married and you're with someone and you make that commitment, you kind of have your life story, you kind of see your life story written in a certain way from beginning to end practically. And now that you're not married anymore, now you have to come up with a completely different life story for yourself. And the thing about Gil to me that hurts the most when I watch him is the fact that he took this seriously. He did exactly what he was supposed to do, and then he got kicked in the mouth for it. He never, to him, not being married wasn't really an option. He was going to stick this through all the way to the end, and he took it seriously. And he was with someone who didn't take anything seriously. That's why it hurts. That's why when I see him, my heart goes out to him, because other than Rachel and Jose, it seems like he was the only one that really took this whole situation very, very seriously. And there was no exit plan for him. He was going to stay with this woman. So he's hurt. This man is really hurt. And I know he's going to get through it. I know he's going to get over it because he has no choice but to do that. Time will heal all wounds. But right now he's in that really ugly place. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate. When you're with someone and you're happy with them and then the relationship ends, you got to enter that ugly phase of the aftermath of the relationship. And you don't want to wake up in the morning because as soon as you open up your eyes, you're constantly reminded of, oh my God, I'm not with the person that I wanted to be with and they're moving on without me. And also what hurts is the fact that this was a great guy. He was such a great guy. He wasn't boring like Ryan. He wasn't emotionally unstable like Johnny. He wasn't controlling and domineering like Jose. This guy was like a really good catch. He had a great job, an admirable job. Now he wants to be a paramedic, along with being a firefighter. His resume is like impeccable. He's good looking. He's healthy. He's fit. He cares about his health. Impeccable. He wanted a family. He believes in marriage, the whole concept of marriage. Just a really great guy. And even Marla still says that he's a great guy, but she just didn't want to be with him. And the fact that I don't know. I can go on and on about Gil. I wish Gil the ultimate best. I think someone had said when they were talking about, swapping spouses, like who would make a better match. I think someone had said something like maybe Gil and Brett, possibly. I don't know. But I hope Gil finds whatever he's looking for in life. I hope things work out for him. I hope he finds a woman that can really, truly appreciate him. Obviously, finding the woman is not going to be an issue. It's not going to be a problem for Gil. Is he going to find the right one, and will it last? I think that's the question. I know his DMs are hella full. He has options out of this world. I just hope that he finds the right one, and I hope that he gets over Marla. That's the most important thing. I really hope that he gets over Marla. So that's my little review of Married at First Sight. Where Are They Now? And yeah, it was a good season. It was a really good season. And they've already started production, or I think I don't know. The next season is starting in January, I believe. So I will definitely be here to review all of that. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I appreciate you giving me the time to talk to you about this. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely come back next time. Bye bye.